Hey lovelies. So this will be a pretty short video. I'm in love. I'm like completely ridiculously head over heels in love about a tarot deck in a way that well, I always fall in love. Let's face it, I'm just a tarot slut. But Tarot of the Spirit is hitting me in a way that few decks have ever. And you know, I got a lot of decks. So with the magic and miracle that is Amazon Prime, now as a Buddhist, Amazon Prime is a little tricky because it really feeds our ability to nom nom nom, chomp down on the world so quickly. But with the miracle that is Amazon Prime, I just uploaded a video about this deck. This is the vintage 1992 Tarot of the Spirit on Friday. Today is Sunday. My new 20th anniversary, this came out in 2011, version of the deck arrived. And I've ripped it open and started playing with it. Oh my God. So for once, the remake is actually better than the original. Both are US game decks. This one was printed in Belgium. You know, I normally am like a huge fan of Cartamundi cardstock, of that sort of 1990s Belgian cardstock. But I gotta say, US Games is now using a really great printer in China, and the cards are turning out awesome. So this is a beautiful deck. There are more differences than the cardstock is, I would say, a little bit thicker than the Cartamundi cardstock, which is, how do I demonstrate that? So I think I can show it just in terms of the width of the deck. So this is the old version, and whoops, sorry, this is the new version. You can see, well, this one's aged, so the sides are darker, but the new version is actually whiter as well. And the deck is just a scotch thicker, which means the cardstock is thicker. The other thing about the new, well, there are two other things about the new deck, the 20th anniversary deck. The font throughout, it sort of got that Paulina Cassidy kind of feel of a handwritten font as opposed to the sans serif of the original. The borders might be a little bit wider on the new version, and the corners are a little bit more evenly rounded. The colors are more vibrant, which the camera isn't really picking up, but might be a function of the whiter background. The thing that really makes this 20th anniversary deck stand out, however, is the brilliance of the detail. So it just is, I don't know if the images were retouched, but can you see that the contrast has been sharpened? So I've been playing with this deck almost, this is the old one, this is the new one, almost non-stop, just incessantly since I unboxed my vintage version on Friday. And the Emperor, which is a really important card for me, it's one of my soul cards. It's a tricky card. It's 4 stable, 4-ness, you know, the 4 of the Emperor's legs, the 4 of obviously the number, the squareness, the stability, can also be sort of this oppressive order for order's sake. Really important card. I hadn't noticed that his legs are eagles until I cracked out the new deck today, the 2011 deck, because it's just that much sharper. And throughout, the detail is more highly delineated. So I would say, I mean, first of all, I think this is a brilliant deck. I am reading Pamela Eakins' book now, and as I digest it, I'll probably end up posting at least one more video about this deck. But, you know, run, don't walk. If anything about what I've shown appeals to you, run, don't walk to get a copy of this deck. The 20th anniversary deck also comes with a transparency of the Kabbalah Tree of Life. And Pamela Eakins' mother, the artist, painted these cards so that each card would, in some way, in its geometry, reflect the path of the Tree of Life. very much this is a deck that's designed to enable spiritual progress, and is a deck that is interpreting Kabbalah as being about the way in which we come to integrate the material and the spiritual worlds, the way in which we enable our lives both to embody spirit, and also the ways in which we come to terms with the material as not anything other than our true and authentic spiritual selves. So she encourages, I mean, you can use her deck, she says, as an oracle in the way that so many of us, just draw a card, do a spread, try to answer a question. But she also encourages us throughout to meditate on the imagery of her cards, and in unpacking the symbolism to really be aware of where things are in the card and how the eye is drawn in a journey as it makes sense of the card. So notice here how, for instance, our eyes are drawn into the eagle base of this sort of at the circle here at Malkut, into the eagle base of the emperor. So I have to assimilate this deck a whole lot more. I'm going to be playing with it nonstop. And I'm also going to be using, and I'll be posting a video about this in my kind of ongoing exploration of the Marseille, that hashtag I started, and I haven't posted anything else on, hashtag Marseille for fall. Pamela Eakins recommends a very specific practice with reversed cards. She says when you get a reverse card, draw another card to help understand the blockage. So say you drew the Emperor reversed, and your next card is Five of Wind, Fear. Use the second card to interpret the first card, to understand the blockage. So with the Five of Wind, Fear, think of this as the Five of Swords. So how are you being hindered by a fear of engagement in the world? How are you being hindered by the ways in which your actions create loss, the ways in which when you seem to prevail in the world, there's always this dark shadow side? Is that blocking you in some way from creating the sense of stability and order that the Emperor represents? Now, I've been using this method. It's a method that I'd used before, but the way Pamela Eakins describes it, I got really inspired to be using it over the past couple days, and have gotten into a situation where sometimes there might be the second card I pick is also reversed, and then I pick another card and that's reversed, and I end up like 4 deep in trying to understand the blockage of the first inverted card. Very powerful, because it makes us read, first of all, it makes us read kind of a progression of meaning in the tarot, so that we're not just kind of using a decoder ring and saying, well, this plus this equals blah, blah, blah. We're sort of seeing how one meaning is unpacked by another meaning, is unpacked perhaps by a third meaning. So the tarot becomes this path, this unfolding narrative, an ongoing process. Yeah, it becomes a path. The Tao of Tarot. Anyway, it's just really cool. I love this deck. So more anon as I keep exploring Pamela Eakins' magisterial and magical Tarot of the Spirit. An oldie but a goodie. And then I look forward to talking more about number and progression and path and Tao, Taoism and Tarot and the Marseille deck in future videos. Okay, enough for now. Bye-bye, everyone. Much love. Thank you for your practice.